Okay, share my screen. Is my screen visible, everybody? Okay, so okay, the question was, let us go a bit down. Question was to find the second largest element in an array, right? So I've written an array here, normal array. Okay, I wanted to tell me which is the largest element and which is the second largest element here. Obviously 40 is the largest. The second largest is where? It is here, right? 40 is here, 36 is here. Hmm? Right? So you want to find that. So before that, let us make it a bit simple for you. Let us say if you want to find the maximum element in an array, what would be your basic approach? What would you do? You'd start accessing each and every element, right, in the array, wouldn't you? Right? Please ignore Noob Master. He sends sometimes he sends some weird stuff. Yeah, let me delete some of those stupid suggestions for now. Okay, I want you to give me a basic approach. Okay, don't think about something high level stuff for now. Okay, uh, how would you want to start traversing each and every element of the array, keep track of the maximum somehow? Want to do that? Right, everybody, did you get what I am saying? I am telling you that you need to access each and every element in the array by using a for loop, then keep track of a maximum somehow. I am telling somehow. I'm not saying how to do it yet. Somehow, right? Yes or no, everybody, in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself, which you don't do anyway. Only guy who unmutes is Santism. He's not there today. Okay, so what I would do is, okay, I'd write a for loop. I would go from I is equal to 0, I less than n, which is the size of the array, which is in this case 4, 5, 6. Okay, then I would do a I plus plus. Okay, and I'll keep a variable here, int max. Okay, let us see what we have to initialize it with, but for now I won't put any value there. What I will do is I'll check here. Okay, I'll write an if statement. I'll check each element of the array r of I, is it greater than my maximum element so far. Now if that is true, I'll keep this inside this maximum variable. I'll update my maximum variable, right? And the loop continues. So this loop runs once, checks ARR of 0 whether it is greater than max. If it is, then it updates, right? Then it goes to the next iteration. I becomes 1, 1 is less than n, which is 6 in our case. Okay, then it checks ARR of 1 whether it is greater than max. In this case In the first iteration, in the 0th iteration, max got updated to 30. Now when it comes to 1, it checks whether 40 is greater than the maximum variable, right? If it is greater, then it will update it again. So from 30 it became 40 now. Then it comes here to this index in the next iteration. Then it starts comparing whether 33 is greater than the max variable, which was updated to 40, and it goes on right ahead. So your max variable at the end will come out as 40. Did you understand what I meant here, everybody? This was very simple. I hope so. Only 3 people. I want all of you to reply. Don't sit silently there. Because okay, fine, I'll tell you actually. Because greater than or equal to max doesn't make any sense. Why would it make any sense? Because once you find your maximum, let's say your maximum was 40, you could write that, that is not an issue. But once you get your maximum, let's say, and it is stored in your max variable, and if you encounter it again, does it make sense to again update it? No, right? You can write that condition, that is not an issue, but it doesn't make sense, right? It is unnecessary, you can say. So Achyut, what I did was, okay, I hope you know how to traverse an array, Achyut, because do you know how to traverse an array, Achyut? That is a problem now, because you have not attended the previous sessions. Yeah, that is a problem. That it would be better that you watch the previous sessions or go through the resources, get yourself familiar with arrays, for loops, because we can't start it from scratch right today from here. Do you know what for loops are, at least, Achyut?
I did till functions and recursions, but I didn't go for arrays.
No, no. Do you know what for loops are?
Yeah, I know for loops.
Okay, so arrays are normally, they are lists. You can say they are lists, not exactly, but they are contiguous collection of elements. Okay, so if you want to, keep elements in an order, side by side, let's say you want to keep 1 2 3 4 5 side by side, you would have declared 6 variables, right? For the number 1, you would have kept it as 1, then number 2 you would have stored 3, and so on up till number 6. Instead of doing this, okay, okay, so instead of doing this, you could have put 1 2 3 4 5 and 6. Okay, and every array's element is indiced from 0 to n minus 1, where n is your size of your array. If your array has 6 elements, then your n is equal to 6. Okay, and your index ranges from 0 to n minus 1. So if this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, and this is 5. So this index is basically n minus 1. That is what I am referring to here. Okay, did you understand this part, Achyut?
Yeah, I understood the array part.
Right. So basically, similarly we have something called as vectors. Okay, these are also same as array. You have to specify what type of value that you are going to put in your array or in your vector, and you can name your vector like this, arr. Okay, and you can put elements into this vector using arr dot pushback of 1, something like this. So what happens is, in your arr something like 1 comes in. Okay, if you do again arr dot pushback here dot pushback 2, then a 2 comes in. So a difference between a vector and an array is that in vectors normally you have to specify your, sorry, in your array you have to specify your array size. You have to predefine it. You have to say whether it is 5 or something. But in array it is dynamically allocated. So whenever you put elements into your vector, it resizes it accordingly. Okay, so you need not specify what your vector size is. Okay, is that clear, Achyut? Did you understand?
A vector is basically like array with variable size. We don't have to mention the size.
Yeah, you need not mention the size. Your pushback method, your pushback function takes care of how the size should increase accordingly. Okay,
Okay.
understood, right? And the traversing part and all is the same. You can use a for loop. You have to loop through the indices of your array. Okay, so that is what I did here. For int I is equal to 0, I less than n, which is the size of the array. So you'll go from 0 to n minus 1 because n is not included. It is not less than or equal to, it is less than n. Okay, I plus plus. So you will traverse each and every element in your array. Okay, so you can access an element in an array using the array's name, and within square brackets you have to mention the index value. So you'll access that element at the ith position. Okay, your I keeps on changing, right, within your iteration. So that is how this code is working. Did you understand that, Achyut?
Yeah, I understood that one.
Okay, so everybody understood what I was saying. Small recap. What do you mean? I guess. Okay, fine. You can, anybody who has more doubts and all, they can go watch my previous sessions, which are there on YouTube. Okay. So this is how normally you find the maximum in your array. So how do you find the second maximum? Okay, let us see, let us see this example itself. Okay, which is 30, 40, sorry about that, 33, 31, 40 and 36. Okay, so in this you want to say find the second largest element. Do you know what sorting is? Arranging elements in ascending order. I had shown you a method, no, to arrange the array elements in ascending order. I had told you about some function, right? Everybody remembers? Yes or no in the chat? I want majority of you to answer this. Wait a second. Okay, only, okay, fine, many of you know, right? So many of you know about the sort function. So your sort function, how to, like what your sort function does is, if you sort this array normally, let us see how the sort function works and all later. If you sort this array normally, what happens is you arrange your array's elements in ascending order, which means the smallest elements comes at the beginning, which is 30 in this case, then the second smallest after that, so it is 31, then 33, 33, then you have 40, sorry, not 40, you have 36, then you have a 40, then you have another 40. Okay, and let me indice this again. 0 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so can you observe something here? Can you observe something? Where is your largest element located in this array after sorting it? If 4 and 5, if the, let's say my array didn't have any duplicates, it didn't have repeated elements, where would it be located? 5. Okay, generalize it now, where it is.
N minus 1.
Yeah, exactly, right? Isn't it at n minus 1, n minus 1th index? Okay, so where would be your second largest element be then? Let's say your array size is 2, always 2. 2 is the minimum size of your array. I'm giving you that. It means that your input won't be like there will be only one array, or sorry, one element in the array. Okay, like 1. It always has. Wait a second. What went wrong? Okay, it always has 1 and 2, or at least 2 elements are there. Where will be your second largest element be? Generalize,
N
generalize.
minus 2.
Right. It will be at n minus 2. Right? Did you all get that? What Achyut said? If your largest located here, let's say there were no duplicates for now. यार क्या problem है यार? Okay, so let's see, if this was n minus 1, then this will be n minus 2. Okay, forget about this array now. My array size is 5, so 5 minus 1 is 4, 5 minus 2 is 3. Okay, so it is always located at n minus 2th index. If you want the third largest in it, it will be at n minus 3th index. Fourth largest, n minus 4th index. Right. Fifth largest means it's the smallest element itself, which will be at the 0th index, that is n minus 1 minus 5, sorry, minus 4. So 5 minus 5 is 0, so it will be at the 0th index. So 0th index will contain your smallest, 4th index will contain your largest, so 0th index contains your smallest element, n minus 1 it contains your largest element after sorting the array. Okay, did you all understand this? Anybody who didn't understand can tell me now. Okay, so fine, that is fine. Now, as you said, there was an issue, right? It was something like 30, 31, 33, 40, 40. If there are duplicates, at n minus 1 40 is there, then at n minus 2 again 40 is there, then at n minus 3 33 is there, right? It is here. So If I just say n minus 2, it won't work. It will give me the wrong answer, right? So don't you think you have to skip, like this is n minus 1, okay fine, you have to start skipping this index and come here somehow? Don't you think you have to do that? Yeah, use if statement, that is true. Let us say it was something like this. So you would have been here, then you take this off, you come here, then you take this off, you come here, again it is same, take this off, then you come here. Now you see, this is my second largest element. Don't you think? That's bad, but such test cases come in, right? So you have to take care of such cases. Did you all understand what I did? If there were duplicates at the back, I have to come back. No, I have to skip these elements off till I come to my second largest element. Everybody understood who are here? So if I try to generalize this now again, so if I just write a for loop, what I do now see how I write my for loop. I know that my second largest element should be at the n minus 2th index, right? So I'll start my for loop from n minus 2. Okay. Then I'll go up till I greater than or equal to 0, which is the first element. I do I minus minus because I want to traverse from the back like this. I want to go. Okay. Do I minus minus. Then I give a check here. If my ARR of I is equal to ARR of I plus 1, then you just continue. Do you know what the continue keyword does? You all said to me that you know loops, so I reckon you know what this does. If you don't know, I'll tell you what this keyword does. It skips that iteration. It goes to the next iteration, you can say, Akshay. Right? It goes to the next iteration. Your I increments. Your I decrements in this case. And if at any case this is not true, no? That means inversion has occurred. Right? It is not equal. So directly you can say that you are standing at your second largest element at that point of time. So you can just else break. You break out from this loop. Your for loop terminates. So your I is there, no? I this index. Or what you could do is basically, sorry, instead of breaking and keeping I and all, in In the else case, you could say your second largest element is ARR of I, then break. Then return this variable second. Did you all understand this? This part, did you understand? Everybody, did you all understand? Any doubts, you can ask me now. Only 6 people understood. Rest of them, anybody has doubts? Everybody understood? Anybody who has doubts, please don't hesitate, you can ask me. It's an important concept. Continue, all these things, skipping indices and all, traversing from the back, any issues with the for loops termination, all these things, traversing from the back and all. Yes or no? Okay, I believe everybody understood. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll code this up. I'll code this up on Geeks for Geeks. Now let's forget about this for a second. Okay. Ooh, okay, forget about this for a second. Let me code this up. So what was given to you? You were given an array, you are given a size in this function, so it is provided to you, both the arrays and its size. I hope everybody are clear with how data is given in a function. Everybody knows, right? Here, okay, okay, fine. So now what I have to do, I have to keep a variable int second which will keep the maximum element. Let me keep it as int second is equal to 0 for now. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll start. Okay, now what I have to do, I have to sort my array. No, I have to sort my array, so I have to use a sort function. So what I have to do is I have to do this arr comma arr plus n. What this actually does is, I'll tell you, your sort function is there, no? It requires you to send two parameters. Okay, initially this is the starting index, which is basically your index of your first element in your array, which is your 0th element. Okay, this should point to something which is beyond your array. So if your array is this, no, 30 40 40 40 40, you have to point it here, that is 0 1 2 3 4 5, which is something beyond. Okay, so if you had read about arrays and all, your ARR, your name of your array is there, no, it is like a pointer. Okay, let's see, pointers are going to come a bit later, but it points to the first element of your array, that is your 0th index. Okay, and if you do ARR plus n, no, it will point you to your nth index. So if I just do ARR comma ARR plus n, that is about it. That is the data that I need to use the sort function. Did you all understand what I meant here? Do you want me to repeat? Yes or no in the chat, please. This is same as arr.begin comma arr.end, which I used to do with vectors. It is the same thing. Arr.begin gives you the starting element of starting position of your vector, address of the first element in a vector. Okay, and arr.end gives you the address of the position which is beyond your last element in a vector. So that is what these two things do. So you all understood what I was doing? Okay, okay, so I'll just sort it. So after this function, if my vector was something like 1 5 4 3, no, what happens is it changes to 1 3 4 5. Okay, it gets sorted. So this function sorted the vector for me, sorry, sorted the array for me. Okay, now what I have to do is I have to start traversing in my array. So I'll start traversing from, I told you, like n minus 2, then I'll go till I greater than or equal to 0, I minus minus. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll just keep a check. If ARR of I, if it is greater than, sorry, if it is equal to ARR of I plus 1, I'll continue. Wait a second. Kaya natin to. Ketia kaya natin to virus. Virus tish. कौन मारेंगे? Okay, so you just continue. Else, okay, so yes, it shouldn't get confusing for you. So I'll write this inside a brace. Else, what you do is you update your second to ARR of I, then you just break out from this loop, and then outside of this loop you just return this. Is this clear to you what this code does? Everybody, you want a clear cut answer? Okay, I want everybody to reply now. Achyut, did you understand?
Yeah.
Nishkal, Nitin, Ruben, everybody? Alma, Akshata, everybody, do you guys understood? Right? So okay, let me try submitting this now. Let me compile it. So it runs. If I submit it, okay, fine. Let us see. Okay, so what our, you know, yeah, that is true. What our test case, like what I had assumed is, there it is guaranteed that in my array there is a, you know, largest element and there is a second largest element. Okay, I had assumed that in my code. But what is happening in Geeks for Geeks is, there is certain test cases where there is just like the maximum element is there in the array. Okay, so in this case, if there is no, you know, second largest element, you have to return -1. Okay, so what I have to do is, instead of initializing to 0, I can initialize to -1. If I don't find any, you know, match, if it is always arr of I is equal to arr of I plus 1, then this condition never executes, right? So your second never gets updated, your second variable never gets updated, so it will still remain -1. So if I do this now, there could be some other cases also where it fails. It doesn't, so it passes. Was this approach easy? How many of you all thought about this to do this? The code, or about the sorting part? Which part do you want me to explain? Okay, so what happened was, let us say, if my whole array had something like this, okay, 50 50 50 50, I had kept my seconds initial value as 0, right? Second, I had kept my initial value for my second variable as 0, right? So what I was doing is, from this index n minus 2, I started checking, okay, whether it is equal. If it was equal, I started skipping it. From here I came here, right? What happened was, this condition didn't get executed. Always this condition was getting executed. So when I had set my second as 0, okay, it remained 0, fine, okay, but I never updated my second. I have to update it to my second largest element, right? But if there is no second largest element in my array, which is clearly in this case all are the largest elements itself, right? 50 is the largest element in this array and it is present everywhere. There is no second largest element, so in that case I have to return second largest as -1. Okay, that is what Geeks for Geeks is asking me. If you can see, if you read here, your task, you don't need to read any input or print anything. Your task is to complete the function print to largest, which takes the array of integers arr and n as parameters and returns an integer denoting the answer. Your answer is your second largest. If the second largest element doesn't exist, then return -1. That is what it is asking you to do. Okay, so what I do is, I just initialize. Normally I assume that my array doesn't have any element, okay, so I just assume that my second largest element is -1, that it doesn't exist. Okay, now what I do is, I start comparing, but I never update my second because I don't find a second largest element. So this second remains -1 for the entirety of this loop. Your loop breaks out, but still your second will remain as -1 because this condition never got executed. It always got stuck inside this condition. This condition was getting executed in every iteration of this loop, right? So it breaks out and your second still remains -1 because there was no second element in your array, so you return second. So you return -1, that's denoting that you don't have any second largest element in your array. So Kritika, did you understand what I meant? Ruben, did you understand, bro? Okay, it was clear, right? Okay. So was this approach easy? Right? Just a second. Hello? हाँ. ना 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 वाड़ी नकत अदा नक टाइम लगता पिलो टाइम लगता वाड़ नकत इतने. Okay, so it was easy, right? uh, a drawback of this approach is it is inefficient. Okay, sorting your array requires certain number of operations, or it requires some computation. It costs you some time, your code is a bit slow. Okay, this sort function is there, no? This takes on an average n logarithmic of n time. Don't get overwhelmed by what this is. We are going to discuss we will discuss it next week, end of next week. Okay, we'll discuss what time complexity is. I have shared some resources on time complexity. I will share them again today. You have to go and read it, okay? Because some things that you have to take some interest and read. It's a bit math related, and it is very important. It is very important if you want to do DS. Okay, you need to understand what time complexity is. So n into log n is a large quantity, a bit large quantity than your normal n, right? Your n log n is greater than your n, right? So what you have to do is, your algorithm is taking this much amount of time now. I want you to reduce it. I want you to get it here, right? So the codes which Knight, Navya and all shared in solution submissions, they take this 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 much amount of time. They are efficient. Okay. Did you understand what I meant? Everybody, did you understand what I meant? So this was one of the approaches. Okay, sorting the array and finding the second largest element. This is the brute force. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Time is not wasted in the other codes. So let us try to optimize. Okay, so return a test case. It's pretty important for me. Just a second. Was 30, 40. 33, 31, and 40, 36. Right? Okay. Okay, fine. So I wanted to do it in linear time, as I say, not in quadratic time or logarithmic time. Okay, I wanted to do it in linear time n. Okay, you have to traverse your array once, that's it, which takes n operations. Okay, so any ideas that you guys have? Many of you all have solved, no? Some of you all have solved, right? Yeah, for loop, obviously you need a for loop, but how would you approach it, right? Any ideas, guys? No idea. Do you want me to solve it immediately right now without you telling me how would you approach it? Do you want me to solve straight away? Yes or no? In the chat. Need to challenge a bit with yourself, okay? Sometimes you have to think. It's an easy question. So tell me whether do you want me to solve it for you? Or do you want me to give you an int? Reply guys, reply. Okay. Just think, what if you keep track of your maximum so far, maximum element, which is your largest element, and your second maximum so far. So you are here, okay. Initially, let's say you assume that your 30 is your maximum, okay, and normally, yeah, you can say your second largest is something which is -1, you can say, because yeah, your array doesn't have negatives, fine. You can assume your second max is -1. Okay, you start your loop from here. Okay, so if you find an element that is greater than your maximum, which is 40, you have to obviously update your maximum, right? What would you do with this 30 now? Yeah, you could do 0. That is also fine, but I prefer to assume that my first element is my largest element, then I start from my loop from I is equal to 1. Okay, let us see now. If 40 was greater than 30, if 40 was greater than 30, 40 becomes my maximum. So what happens to 30? What can you say that? Okay, this current element is greater than my largest so far. So okay, this element is my largest. What happens to my largest so far? What does he become now?
Second largest.
Right? Don't you think that's the case, guys? Can you comment your thoughts on this? Everybody, did you understand what I said? I want you to reply. Just don't sit simply, silently. If you are not understanding, you have to tell me that you didn't understand. We're just 10 people here, nobody is going to judge you. Okay, I believe everybody understood. Okay, so the idea is to keep track of my largest so far and my second largest so far, and on the basis of where I am, which element I am processing, which element I am standing in my loop, to make a decision, right? If my current element, that is ARR of I, is greater than my largest so far, largest, then for sure, if condition, okay, then for sure my largest becomes ARR of I. Then my second largest becomes my largest, which was there. Sorry. You shouldn't write like this, okay? Sorry. Why you shouldn't do that is because if you update your largest directly, then you lose what largest was holding before, right? So what you have to do is your second largest becomes your largest, and your largest is your ARR of I. Did you understand this part? This whole thing? Did you all understand what I did here? At every iteration of my loop I am doing this, okay? At every iteration, for every single I, there is a loop outside. For I is equal to 0, sorry, for I is equal to 1, I less than n, I plus plus. Okay, for every iteration I check, and if my A of 1 is greater than my largest, then my A of 1 becomes my largest here, and my second largest becomes what previous largest was, right? I swap, basically I swap it. Do you all understand what I did there? Now let us go into some other case. Else, if, what if my ARR of I, what if my ARR of I was less than largest, okay? This condition doesn't hit. What if it was less than largest? What do you think I need to do in that case? Can it directly be my second largest element? Can it be? If you just see at this test case, first it was 30, largest was 30, and second largest was -1. Then my largest became 40, my second largest became 30. Now I come here, 33. Is 33 greater than 40? No, it is not. Okay, so can 33 become my second largest? Can it become my second largest? If it can, what should be the condition if it has to become my second largest? I want you all to reply in the chat. If my 33 is not greater than my largest, but if it wants to be my second largest element, what should be the condition? Exactly, it should be greater than the second largest, right? Now just Achyut, just think about it. That is true what you said. There could be a case that this element was 40, it was equal to my largest, but I check whether ARR of I is greater than largest, right? Only then I do this. If it was equal, if it was 40, then 40 would also be greater than 40 would also be greater than 30, right? Then you would have gone and updated second largest to 40 also. That thing you shouldn't do, right? Don't you think? Yes, exactly. That is what you have to do. Additional check you have to keep. So else if ARR of I is not equal to largest, and this condition should be true, and if ARR of I is greater than second, then you can say that your second is equal to ARR of I. And your loop continues. At the end, you return second. Did you all understand? Did you understand what and operator is? Do you know what and operator is? Logical and. Might have studied in your PUCs. Okay, so what logical and does is, let's say if you have an if condition. Okay, now everybody is saying yes, but let us see. Now let us say, do you know what 1 and 1 is? Do you know what 1 and 0 is? Do you know what 0 and 0 is equal to? Do you know what 0 and 1 is equal to? Right, if both your conditions are true in an AND operation, if both your conditions are true, only then your answer is true. If any of them is false, if any of them is 0, what I mean by true is whether if it is 1. That is how we comprehend, right? In decimal, like number system. In binary, we comprehend true as 1. Phi is also considered as true. Any positive number is considered as true. Positives and negatives are considered as true in programming languages. In C++, 0 is considered as false. So everybody understood what AND is. Both your conditions should be true, only then the answer is true. If any of them is false, the answer is 0. In the case of OR operations, if it is 0 1, if it is 1 0, if it is 1 1, or if it is 0 0, if any of them is 1, no, it is 1. If any one of the conditions is true, then it is true. If both of them are false, both of them are 0, then it is 0. Same thing is what is happening with this and. And is like checking if the left condition and the right condition, if both of them are true, which means if ARR of I is not equal to largest, if it is not equal to largest, this expression will return you a true, right? And if ARR of I is greater than second, this will also return you a true. So true true, if you AND it, that will give you a true. Basically your if conditions want a true or false inside this, it is waiting. If it gets a true, then it will execute this condition which is inside it, or else if there is an else part, it will go there. Do you understand what I meant, what I did here? I'm a bit amateur with this board, sorry. Okay, so this is what this condition is meaning. If your ARR of I, yeah, okay. I don't think you can do that, no. With conditions you can do, but basically it should resolve to true or false at the end. Exactly, you can just, because positive and negative numbers are considered as true, zeros are considered as false. Okay, did you all understand this condition? Ooh. Yes or no, everybody in the chat? Yes or no? Everybody, Nishkal, everybody. Nishkal has already told me. Night, yes, okay. Clarice, did you understand? Alma, Apurva, Akshata. Okay, Akshata also knows. Sana, then who is there? Nitin, did you understand? So that's the code. So if I take this thing off, no, comment this thing off. If I uncomment this thing off, so this is exactly the code that I wrote. I initialized my largest, I kept two variables like how I did here. Okay, largest and second. Okay, largest, second largest. Largest is assigned to ARR of 0, which is the first element, this guy. Then second largest is initialized to -1, saying that right now I don't know, I am saying that there is no second largest in my array. It doesn't have any unit, it is just like these many number of operations, you can say that. You on LeetCode HackerRank, they measure your time using some time functions. It tells you in milliseconds. Okay, it's operations, n logarithmic of n operations, basic steps. Can you see? Yeah, you can say it takes n log n logarithmic n units of operations. Units, you can say it like that. Yeah. Yeah, operations, I don't know whether you can term an operation as an unit. I term it as operations normally. Okay, so what I do is I go from 1 to my last element n minus 1. Okay, I less than n means I am going till n minus 1. When it is equal to n, it breaks out. I plus plus. You are saying default if checks. Okay, okay, so if ARR of I is greater than largest, I do this. If it's not, then I check whether it is not equal to largest. If it is not equal to largest, and if it is greater than my second largest is equal to ARR of I, and my loop continues. At the end, I will end up with my second largest element. So did you all understand this code, everybody? Okay, so I will try submitting it. I will compile it first. Okay, so it runs. This is a bit faster, I reckon. It is 0.23. Yeah, it will execute. So everybody understood, right, this problem? Everybody? So are you all tired? It's been 1.5 hours now, almost 1.5 hours. Okay, so what it is like, we are busy from next week we are busy, so next you might not be tired, so others are, right? I can't rush things. Okay, Kritika is not. Can find it in general, Sana. I don't know which question you're talking about, but still. Okay, I'll teach you some new concept today. Okay, how many of you all know what are substrings? If you have a string, something like this, A B B C A B. Yeah, exactly, string inside strings. Now if you want to find this string, you want to immediately get this string, how will you do it? And it's indices like this now: 1 2 3 4 5. There is something called as substr function. So you call it like this: the name of your string dot sub str. the starting position of your substring. In this case it is 2. Yeah, part of a string which is continuous. Okay, continuous, it is continuous. If you pick like this a b c c b, this is a subsequence, not a substring. Okay, so in this substr function you specify where your substring is starting, 2. Then you specify the length of your substring. In this case it is 1 2 3 4. And how do you find this length? Can you just tell me how do you find this length of this substring? Any idea how you can find that? Using some mathematics? Not size of, no. Using some mathematics you can find it. You know where your substring starts, you know where your substring ends. Can you find the size of that string? Not exactly. I want you to find the length of your substring. The index where a substring starts is your index 2, where a substring ends is at, where your substring ends is at 5. You know it. Yes, exactly, Achyut, that is correct. Yeah, 2 and 5, I have given you that. You know, you like, how will you tell then which substring I want? You can't tell your computer like give me BCAB. It won't understand. You need to tell where I am starting, where I am ending, and then it will give you the substring, right? So if I say my substring is starting from something like I and it is ending at an index j, so I know that it is starting from I, and I can tell the length of some issues. Okay, then I can tell the length of my substring is j minus I plus 1. Did you all understand this? No. Okay, Rose, can you can see here, if a b b c a, b is given to you, you don't have the substring, you are only given the starting position and the ending position of your substring. You need to find that string now, you have to print it. One thing is you have to traverse from that position till that end position, right? But you don't want to do that, you want it immediately, so I'm giving you a shortcut way. It will print that also, Achyut. So if you do like this, something like this, 0 1 2 3 4 5, if you say 2 to 5, if you want, what you'll do is s dot, if this string's name is s dot substr 2 comma 5 minus 2 plus 1. First is the starting position, second position is the length of your substring, okay, in C++. So it is 5 minus 2 plus 1, which is equal to basically how much? 5 minus 2 is 3 plus 4, so that is giving you 4. Its length was 4, right? Substring's length. So this will output you BCAB. Did you all understand what happened here? Yes or no in the chat, please. Yeah, obviously. Let's do that. So to use a substr function, you have to include the string class first. Okay, string header file. Now let me declare a string. Strings are declared like this: string s is equal to a b b b c c a b b. Now if I want to print a substring, I can do s dot substr starting position. Let's say if I want this one, bcca. Okay, so I know that it is at index 0 1 2 3, right? This b is at index 3, don't you agree? So it is at 3, it starts from 3. Now I want to go from 3 4 5 6 7 8, let's say 8, till 8 I want to go. So 8 is my ending position. So what I have to do is 8 minus 3 plus 1, that is 6. Basically what you're saying is I'm going to start from this index, that is 3. 3 say 1 2 3 4 5 6, 6 length I'm going. I want a 6 length substring from B. Basically 5 more characters from there. Do you all understand what I'm doing here? Everybody, yes or no? I don't think you can do that. I never tried it till date. What happens is if you give negative length, it will take till the end. It will just assume it to be the end. So from B, everything will be printed. B C C C A B. Because your -1 actually represent your last index in Python. If you do that, -1 represents your index beyond your last element. That would be something like -5 plus n. That would be last but fifth. Here you can take this one. It could be this one. Okay, if you do -5, it will still give you the whole thing. I don't think so, because in slices it works in Python, but C++ I never tried with negative indices. But if you give 6, it will print a BCCAB. Okay, Google search now. Let us see. Negative length. Negative lengths substr are treated as not in C++. Sorry. the sub-str function will take all the characters till the end of the string. As I said, it will negative values. Why is that? Because that is how it is implemented. The sub-str method inside your string class is implemented in that way. If it is something less, defaultly it will take the last element. That is how STL is actually used, actually implemented. Right? If you wanted to function in different way, you could write your own sub-str function. You are free to do that. You know. In Python it works. If you do -2, it will give you the last but second. It will slice till there. But that's not how it works here. Okay, everybody understood how sub-str functions are working? Right? Everybody. Rest of the people. It will give you out of bound. I never try such things. It is nice to experiment. It will give you out of bound. You can't give that because 100 doesn't exist in your string. So everybody understood how a sub-str functions work? Nice questions, SSJ Rose. It's good that you want to experiment with C++ STL. I don't think so. Can't do that. It is just a function, Nishkal. It is just a method. It requires certain data that you have to give. Okay. You need to give certain data and it will do the job for you. That's it. Okay, that is about it, I feel, for today. It's already 9:50. If anybody has some extra doubts, you can ask me. Next session will be next week's Saturday. Okay, till then I don't think there will be any sessions, so we will be giving you out some simple problems. Why she is called she? Ask the devil, guy who invented it. Can go to YouTube. Mic on sir. Ande dursubri karna ka. Pet kam. Virus. Mani kale tik mandu samana. Chikka prasangi. Mandu samana.
Ave kane a bomb ardavada. Te nakane.
Otte pahir makata nakkare mode asau. भैरसा पूरा भैरव सांगतो पिशा आमरी घरचे अक्कल नांगी sorry okay what do you mean by if the string's length is too long as far as your string is not going out of bounds that's not an issue right nice question that's a weird question you know why is C called C I was like ask him though the guy who invented मेरे को क्या फेंदा For your satisfaction, I'll try it, Kritika. Let me see. I believe the whole string will be given to you, but I don't think that is the case. Let us see. It's good to experiment. Something like 100. In my case, it should be out of one. Yeah, it treats it as your ending, right? Anything which is greater than your size of your string, it will treat it as the index which is beyond, just beyond your n minus 1th index. Kritika, that would have resolved your query, right? It is same as giving something negative. It is not assuming, it is how it is built. See, when you, okay fine, when you, listen Rose, when you give 100, okay, there is something called as, there is a string class. In this, you have the, substr method. If you want me to go in detail, okay, it takes, please don't get overwhelmed everybody, because she is asking, I'm telling you, it's not assuming. If your, it is going to check if it, your j, if your j is greater than the size of your string, okay, greater than or equal to your size of your string, then it will treat your j is equal to n minus 1. Then again there could be an if condition, there will be an if condition for sure. If your j is less than 0, it will treat your j is equal to n minus 1 again. Then it will do some for loop stuff from int I start is equal to I start is less than equal to, your end will be also there, end is equal to j. I'm so sorry, this is here I, this should be some name clashes, but let me say it as IT. Okay, your start is equal to I, IT plus plus, C out, it would just, you would have something like string answer is equal to empty string, then it would do answer plus equal to, s of IT. There will be a string constructor again, which will take a string, which will take a character array, you could say. it will start initializing. There will be another, see, it gets overwhelming a bit. We have not yet started object oriented programming, so okay, it will do something like string strs. Yes, so basically let's not get too much. If you give something which is greater than your n, it will just treat it as n minus 1, your j. If it is less than 0, then it again treats it as n minus 1. Then you just loop from it is equal to start till your end, okay, which is j it plus plus. Then you just append it, then you just return that answer back. So this is how it might be implemented. Still we can't see, I can't confirm it for you right now, okay. So Rose, did you get to know what I was meaning? You can check your header files. It will be too much for now, I feel, getting into the header files for everyone. Guys, I will need to wind up the session. It is thundering here, unfortunately. So we will be meeting next week on Saturday, okay. Because we are going to have our internals and there are certain things that we have to look into. I hope today's session was helpful. It cleared some of your doubts. There will be questions that will be given to you, and I expect you to at least attempt them. If you are facing any issues, there is the leaflet bot. We are happy to help you out, okay. So that is a wrap. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Yeah, for sure.